Okay, folks, so welcome to Saturday Morning Call. Mikey, if you'll turn your microphone off. There we go. It's what, November the 8th. And so talking about as a start off topic, the word is denial. Now, what we mean by denial is that we deny truth when in fact, say, somewhere deep down inside and for reality's sake, it is true. Now, the place that I'm starting is with a book that was very famous. In fact, I think it was on the New York bestseller list back in the 1970s. It was a book by an author, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, who has gained some fame from this. And the name of the book was On Death. And what she put together is that whenever let us say a patient goes to the doctor and he starts telling them that death is coming, they will deny it. That's the first thing that happens. Oh, no, not me. I'm not going to die. I feel healthy enough. Even if they went in for, let us say, extreme pain, and the doctor sees it as prostate cancer, and he diagnosed it. That's not it. It's got to be something else. It's got to be an itch. It can't be cancer. So we deny what's real. Now, in Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's book, the second item is that once we get over the denial, when we just simply say it's not true, then we will go into a state of rejecting it, maybe even to the point of anger about it. There was a line in a Rocky movie where a young one of the street kids came up to Rocky about a fight that he had lost. And the kids say it ain't true, Rocky, say it ain't true. In other words, if Rocky will say it ain't true, then the kid will be able to deny it completely. So this is where we all get started with any kind of go into a state of denial about it. And then we will go into rejection. And then we try to make a deal with it. Well, doctor, if I do this and that, what about it? Or religious people will go and pray, oh, God, give me a few more years or whatever like that. And so we go into a deal-making situation, a compromise. And then the last stage is acceptance, that we go ahead and recognize that it's true. Anna, are you familiar with Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's book on death and dying? No, you haven't heard of it. Okay. It's actually quite profound in the sense that she pointed it out because of the big issue. Actually, we'll go through those various stages for any bad news or any news that we would consider bad. An example is that you're driving down the street and all of a sudden you hear noise from the left rear tire, as well as the recognition that it's gone flat. And the first thing that's said is, oh, no. That's denial. Oh, no, it's flat. It's flat. And until they've already gone from that oh no denial into the next step of anger. How could that tire go flat on me? Into well, maybe I can do something about it, and then into acceptance. And only after we go into that acceptance will we actually open the door and go do something about it. And so we can think of this issue of denial as very much useful in our practice of the Dhamma, because most people will deny uh, any wrongdoing, they will deny any problems that they've got, but also we deny beneficial results. An example of that would be that someone is starting to practice and get to be okay. I'm all right, not a problem in the world. I feel satisfied. And then the next thought is, it's not good enough. I don't feel satisfied enough. In other words, we're denying getting someplace. Or let us say that a child is learning to play the piano and he's in the process of getting ready for his first recital, and mom brings Aunt Susie in to hear the piano, and Susie says, "That's very good. I like it." And the child will say, "No, it's not good enough." So this is the state of denial that we use. We'll deny whether things are good, and we'll deny when things are bad, rather than accepting the way things are. And now I'd like to introduce a new concept, and that is hard and soft. It's not a new concept, it's just things. Now, let's use the first example of that water is soft. You can dip a stick into it, you can dip a napkin in it and absorb the water. You can sip it. It's got qualities of being very soft. However, if you fall out of an airplane at a certain height, when you hit that water, it's like hitting concrete. In other words, it's not soft anymore. Now, there is a product that they've been experimenting with wide scale. It's called a product that's a non-Newtonian fluid. And after they began to play with it, they recognized that water itself is a non-Newtonian fluid. Now, what do we mean by a non-Newtonian fluid? Is that if we touch it softly, it will move. But if we grasp it hard, it will resist. Well, this is the way that we do it. If we get hit with a piece of information, then we will deny it. But if it comes very gently, very easy, it's much easier to, let us say, investigate it, to check it out. An example of non-Newtonian fluid is that they've been experimenting with it in Europe for speed bumps. That if you put non-Newtonian fluid in, uh, then when a car rolls over it slowly, like at 10 miles an hour, 15 miles an hour, then the fluid will move out of the way and the car feels like it's going straight without having any bumps. But if you hit that speed bump at 50 or 60 miles an hour, then the non-Newtonian fluid inside is going to resist, strongly resist. And that means that then you're going to feel the bump very, very big. So now that we've talked about hard and soft, let us talk about it in the sense that we can use this to our advantage. In other words, some things we learn softly, we don't learn it very well. But if we learn it hard, then it'll impact us. An example of that is with the self-preservation instinct. When we become afraid of something, if it's hard, then we'll remember that. In fact, you could go so far as to say that a post-traumatic stress disorder is exactly that. In other words, something hit us so hard that we expect that to happen over and over again. But if we had seen it very softly, then it would not have made such a hard impact upon us, and it wouldn't have caused such a trauma that trauma lingers. So we've got this hard and we've got this soft. If we can, in fact, let us go back to the example with the doctor, and the doctor says, you have pain in your lower back. You've got a lot of pain down there. What do you think it might be? Could it possibly be some sort of cancer? Could it possibly be some sort of prostrate issue? Then that means taking and with that soft approach, the person will, in fact, be able to accept it. But if the doctor just says, oh, you've got prostate cancer and you're going to die, you've got about 3 weeks to live, then people are going to immediately reject that. They're going to deny it. They're going to say that it's not true. And so we can help people to attain reality by introducing it softly to them so that they will get the reality without going into a state of denial. Now, we can also use that in our practice when there is, in fact, in one of the sutras, number 48, in the Majjhima Nikaya called Kansambian Sutta, where the Buddha talks about being able to confess our wrongdoing to a senior teacher or to an elder monk that we trust. In other words, we can approach our wrongdoing in a gentle way, but if we are accused of it, that's like getting hit hard with it, and we'll go into a state of denial. Now, there are one is Harry and the other one is Opata. Now, normally Harry is referred to as shyness or embarrassment. It's okay.
Are you? Oh, yeah, you're good.
I can see myself moving. Do we still have internet connection? Yes. Okay. So this Harry and Opata actually has to do with embarrassment or shyness on one end of the scale and a feeling of guilt on the other. An example in court is that we do not pronounce someone innocent or guilty in the sense of being shy or being embarrassed. In other words, we don't say you're either innocent or you're embarrassed by what you do. They say you're guilty. Between embarrassment or shyness and guilt is that when we hide something because we don't want other people to know, it's because in our own minds, we want them to not say what we would say to them if the roles were reversed, or what we would say to ourselves. And what we would say to ourselves is that you're bad. You shouldn't do that. You're supposed to feel shame. And so we hide our bad behavior from other people, but that's just hiding it because we don't want to recognize it, as opposed to feeling guilty means that there is something that's got to be done. Guilt means is that there is retribution. We got to make up for it. We got to do our time. We've got to let us say try to. So one of them broke a cup in the kitchen. That if he is shy, he will sweep it up, hide it, throw it away, make sure that nobody knows it. But if he feels guilty about it, he'll go find some glue and try to put the cup back together. Okay, so one has to do with the way that we deal with people, and the other one is actually seeing that what we done was fit. And that's the way that the Patty Moore is the young monk who had broken one of the precepts and actually getting mocked for the whole be too much for him, and he would be in a state of denial about it. But he can go and talk to a teacher, and that teacher, in his kindness and his ease, will ease the student into accepting that what he has done is wrong, so that he can come to grips, accept it, but more than acceptance, he can now do something about it. He can fix it, and how we fix it is by stopping doing that and don't do it anymore. And so this is the reason for confession. Now, in Christian confession, it's quite different than that we want to confess in Christianity so that we can get forgiveness. But the quality of forgiveness exists very much in the Dhamma. What is more important is to forget about it rather than forgive. Or, same thing, forgiving ourselves for what we did wrong, forget, not just forget doing it, but forget it altogether and stop doing it. So, with this quality of hard and soft, we can see that in fact, that have heavens and hells, that the hell is a big, heavy, hard punishment, and that oftentimes it's a heavy, hard punishment for very small issues, very small transactions. But those transactions kind of build up and build up until they're worthy now of sending someone to hell. But Buddhism, we recognize that a hell state is a state that one creates in his own mind. That's dukkha. And so we could say then that instead of having a heaven and a hell, the better way of looking at it is that we have the possibility of dukkha. And if we operate correctly, we can, in fact, change that dukkha, change it from being unsatisfactory, unwholesome, into the wholesome. Now, normally we got into a state of hell, into a state of bad feelings, partly because things hit us hard. They're heavy, and we carry those heavy things around. And so the better thing to do is to set the heavy things down, but then we'll pick up heavy things again. But we practice, but we are practicing softly. But there is a method where we can practice, let us say, in a more strenuous method, with an example of, I am not going to do that anymore. I'm going to stop doing that. This is harmful, it's unwholesome, and it is painful. And start so that we can come out of our bad behavior. In other words, we can add some heaviness to it because we know that just playing with it, oh, everything is going to be okay, everything is fine, not a problem, not a worry in the world, is going to only set us up for going back into those heavy states. But if we make a strong determination that I am not going to go back into those heavy states, I'm going to do things happily and correctly and start putting some energy into it, then we can gain some value much quicker than if we try to deal with hard things very softly. Let's put some energy into it, but we have to already be able to accept it as opposed to being in a state of denial about it. Because if we start being hard or heavy on ourselves, then stop doing that. We're going to go into denial and say, who, me? I didn't do that. So the reality is that we want to be able to see our defilements in a soft, easy way so that we can accept them. And then we deal with them in a soft, easy way. But when we recognize that that's not working, we can begin to deal with them in a much more ferocious way. Now, one of the words that has been used commonly, uh, the Pali word is karuna, that's translated into the word compassion. And compassion is a great, big, beautiful word that psychologists and all will use. But if you look at the etymology of that word, cum is a Latin prefix with the word for the word with. And so we're saying with passion. All right. But passion is heavy, it's big. You can see the way that it's used with heavy music and passion plays and where people have great big feelings about things, and that real compassion has no compassion in it. You can, in fact, change it from being compassionate into being non passionate. That, in fact, a better word to use would be to use the word nurturing. Now, nurturing is normally a soft word, to where the opposite of it, of nurturing, is critical, and critical is a hard word. That we're critical ourselves, and so we feel shy. We don't want other people to see us the way that we see ourselves. But if we can, instead of seeing ourselves critically, we can use compassion, or better still, we use the word nurturing that's got some strength behind it, so that we can not scold ourselves, but make that determination. I'm going to stop doing that. I'm going to stop. I'm going to not do that anymore. We can put that energy into it so that it has some force behind it, just like we got all of our traumas through, let us say, some effort, some energy that went into it. Now we're going to use some right noble effort, some real effort to come out of our misbehavior. Once we're out of our effort, it becomes much easier. We need to start with some effort and then let that effort build to the point that we can stop. The fastest way of getting out of dukkha in a really big way is to use the right noble effort to come out of it, to actually come out. And so we don't we don't want to be able to be hit with it too hard, confronted it would be a person, will immediately place someone in denial. So we don't use confrontation, we ease into it so that we can see what's going on, and then we can begin to use effort to be able to change it, to correct it, to come out of it, so that later, once we gain some skill in it, whenever we see that unwholesome thought come, we can see it in the sense of, aha, I see you, and put some effort. I see behaviors, and put some effort and some energy into it. But that's not an effort, or let us say a harsh kind of effort, but rather it can be quite playful. That in fact we can use playfulness with heavy energy in order to gain enough energy to do something about it. So, aha, I see that. It's joyful, but it's got effort, it's got energy, means that needs to be changed. If we just practice very lightly, very gingerly, and don't put any real effort into it, then the practice is very slow. And the important point that's always necessary to be made is that this takes repetition. It happens over and over and over and over and over again. So if you're practicing correctly, and some thought, because you're looking often, you're seeing it often, you can come up with, aha, I caught you. I got you that time. And because we can do that, we can make that change. That defilement doesn't have much of a chance of lasting long. So this is where we start with this issue of, if we get hit with something hard, we're going to deny it. But once we accept it, we can use that virtue for to not come out of it, because we've already accepted it. Not just accepted it, but we are determined to do something about it, to come out of that bad feeling. So, uh, Eric, what do you think?
Uh, it's things that I haven't really uh, put detailed thought into because, like, I'm of the tendency to do things more softly, but haven't really had hard feelings to deal with lately. So, um, I've been managing with the energy that I've been putting in up until now.
Mm-hmm. Actually, that's a good point. That if we do not have any heavy defilements that we see, if it's a very light little thing, I can see you because it's got no energy in it. But if we are seeing still heavy defilements, then we can deal with those heavy defilements by saying, I caught you. I can see that. Now, that aha, I caught you, I can see that, is actually good acceptance, but it's putting enough effort into it so that you can change. But if you then giving a heavy response to a very light defilement would not be useful. We could say, I see that again. There it is. So, Brett, what do you think?
I think that's quite accurate to the experience here. And we do bargain, and we can bargain during a cancer diagnosis. And something that helps is to remember our nature as ultimately not special, as unique as we are. When we get an experience, a hard experience of confrontation, we're not the only ones, and we're not the first ones that have had that experience.
Mhm.
That's a benefit.
I know. I've heard that before. In the sense of everybody is unique. Everybody is a special individual. But that's actually the best way of looking at things is that we're all alike. We've all got the same defilements.
Right.
There's nothing unique or individual about it. That bad feelings and bad
Right.
behavior and bad attitude is universal.
And that softens
That
the
we are not
impact.
unique.
That softens the impact, and that prevents us into solidifying a victim, and no more pity party.
Yes, exactly. Defilements are completely universal. That everybody's got the same junk. All
Yes.
cats scratch furniture. Every one of them. Okay? Every one of us scratches furniture in our own way, but we're actually out there clawing at stuff. And so if we can see that we're all not unique, that we think that we're special. There's what they call a spiritual that was very famous in the South. That you've heard it before. Nobody knows the trouble I've
The
seen.
trouble I've seen.
Nobody knows
Nobody
my
knows my
sorrow.
sorrow. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Glory, hallelujah. Didn't we sing that before, Dhammarato? A couple of years ago
Oh,
on
yes,
another. We did. We sang that before together.
yes. So that whole point is that that's not true.
At all.
Everybody's seen the same sorrow. Everybody's seen the same bad feelings. Everybody's had the
You
same
will.
troubles.
I
And
need ya.
the way, yeah, and so we can deal with it happily. The
It's
reason
passing.
why I say that is because everybody made that stuff up. We were taught how to make up problems. It's universal. It's part of the culture. And in fact, it transcends all cultures. Problem making is universal for humans. So that kind of takes the weight out of it, doesn't it? That we all do the same thing. That allows us to have non-passion, or even the word compassion. We can have compassion for other people, or we can have non-passion for them. That in fact, that idea of non-passion means that we accept that we're all screw-ups equally. Everybody does everything, all in a row, all alike, and so we can take the passion out of it and nurture ourselves, nurture one another, be friendly with each other, be kind with each other. We are all screw ups. Get over it. Stop denying that you're a screw up. Accept it, because only through acceptance can we actually do something about it. Brett, are you a screw up?
When I screw up, I'll screw up. Yes.
Yes. The other one, which I was wanting to mention, and it's a little late, but I'll bring it up now, and that is the issue of liars. We all start lying when we were about 2 years old. Lying, in fact, is another aspect of denial. Who ate the chocolate? Oh, I didn't eat the chocolate. And so by denying it, we automatically start lying. guess what? One of us. There is not one human being on the planet Earth that is not a bald-faced liar. We're all liars. Don't deny it. It's just, that's how it is. We trained ourselves to lie because we trained ourselves to deny. But once we're beginning to see things clearly, we can accept things the way that they are, then we can do something about it. We need to carry that label of liar so that we can be on guard for it. I see myself, I'm about to lie to somebody. And in fact, sometimes it's really hard to tell the truth. An example of that, in fact, it happened today. I think that Eric says, "How do you feel?" He's asking me to lie to him. How you doing? I'm supposed to. It's a ritual. In fact, we'd get quite surprised if you met a lady on the street and, "Hi, how do you do?" And her answer is, "Oh, this hurts and that hurts and I'm complaining and all things are terrible." And you don't want to hear that. We want to hear that everything is okay. We want them to lie. And so, in fact, you could say that ritualized behavior is almost always going to have lies to it. And so I complain that, how do I answer when somebody says, "How you doing?" The answer to that, or how's it going? And I will say, "I didn't know it was going anywhere." How do you feel? "I'm not sure. I haven't checked lately." And so it's hard. It's not. I wouldn't say that that it's hard. Let us say that it goes against the grain of the lying that we have picked up throughout our whole lives. That we're expecting. So let me see, Matt. What do you think?
Yeah, just kind of back to this isn't a fully formed thought, but I think the thing that I wanted to ask was about, like, basically you were saying, like, bring intensity when the dukkha is intense and the thought patterns are, like, insistent, bring intensity back. And I think what I, like, foresee happening is maybe more dukkha coming in regards to me being like you said, maybe it's like being harsh is like just more dukkha, perhaps, right? Like, or being like remanding, perhaps. But like, I don't think that's actually what you're saying to do. So I'm just kind of like digesting that. I don't know if you want to speak to it.
Well, when was that when we have a heavy dukkha, we normally, the first thing, even instantaneously, we might have seen it 1,000 times before, but when we see it again, we deny it again. So if we can accept that, yeah, I screwed up, then we can take, but I'm going to stop doing that. Aha, I see you, and I'm going to stop it. In other words, we bring in the same amount of energy that we do actually doing the defilement, so that we can eradicate it, pull it out. If it's stuck in there, use some rubber gloves and go in and grab it and pull it out. It's not going to work if we just tickle it and play with it. We got to grab it and pull it out. Take the right noble effort to see that and eradicate it. If you're an old monk of, let us say, 60 years as a monk, you can say then that right noble effort is no effort at all. That's because the defilements are nothing much at all. And so you can to remove some very light, easy things but most people start off with some pretty heavy duty dukkha, and with correct acceptance and being able to see it clearly. Let's take some effort to get that stuff out right now. Aha, I see you, and I can do something joyful and happy about it, but my joy is a big, heavy duty, happy joy. Let's use that energy to be happy about it. So does that make sense for you, Matt?
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I think just working with that because I am new, so there are some heavy things.
Mm-hmm. So how about you, Karwan? What do you think?
Dhammarato, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Well, yeah, good talk, Dhammarato. Yeah, thank you. And yeah, it's just a different way of saying, of course, what you have been saying to us every week. And but I like it every time, slightly from a different
Yeah.
angle. And
Same old business, and hallelujah. Everybody knows the trouble I've seen. Everybody knows this line
yeah,
of
but
speech.
sometimes, Dhammarato, when we are in one of those situations, sometimes those situations feel so important and so overwhelming that like I need to do
Mhm.
something to fix it, or instead of just being don't worry and being happy, I get caught by situations that I want to fix or I want to solve instead of just being happy. Yeah,
Mhm.
but I'm getting better at it. Yeah.
Yeah. So now it's time that you can start to take the effort that it takes. I'm not going to fix everything. Yeah, it's a big thing. Let's just set it down. Let's take the right noble effort to stop trying to fiddle with it and just drop it. Throw it out. This is what I mean by throwing it out, is that we take that right noble effort to do something about it rather than, oh, I'm a liar. I should do something about that. It's not going to work. So, Luke,
Yeah, it's a good talk, Dhammarato. Thanks. It's something, as is often the case, something quite topical for me at the moment about being in denial about certain things. I was just reflecting when you were saying about us all being screw ups. One thing I've got teenage kids. One thing I always try and remember to do when they do something that they're embarrassed about or ashamed about or whatever, to try and say, "Hey, I remember when I was your age, I did X,
yeah,
Y, Z,
that's
and
right. I
yeah,
remember.
I remember how that
That
felt." I always try and I'm sure there's times I forget, but I always try and do that because I want them to know that, hey, everyone does this. Don't worry. Don't feel like you're the only one.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can tell that kid, everybody at my school when I was in high school did just what you're doing. You're a screw
Yeah.
up, and so were every kid in my high school.
Yeah.
So, how about you, Navid?
Oh, yes. The soft method. Amazing, amazing. And we all lie. We lie so much, especially to our own selves. For first and foremost, isn't it?
Yeah. We're so good at lying that we don't even know it
Yeah,
ourselves.
we're deep in
We
it.
lie to ourselves effectively.
I'm knee deep in it.
I'm such a good liar, I can't even catch myself when I'm lying.
Exactly.
So how about you, Michael Swift?
Yes, hey, Dhammarato, thank you. This was a wonderful talk, and can say definitely I have been a screw up. I am a screw up. But here lately, I am learning to be a screw up happily. So, yes, thank you. Very happy to be here.
Happy So B, what
Be
do you think?
playful.
Go ahead, Michael. Sorry.
Happy and playful screw up. You got it.
So Miss B, what do you think?
Yeah, great talk, Dhammarato. It's been really helpful following the teachings and the way you've been laying them out, that you can choose what to think at any time. You can just turn that radio down or turn the joy radio up, and on you go. So thank you very much.
Good. So Christina, good to see you. You came in late, but I'm glad you're here.
Oh, yes. Nice to see you all.
So Manny, you just showed up. We've been going for about an hour now.
Dhammarato, I just realized, so we have time change over here.
Anna, what do you
So it's 10 o'clock over here. And so I had my hours wrong. So I thought I was right on time. Anyway.
your
Yep.
clock? Yes. Yeah, we don't have a time change because the time in Thailand doesn't change. And not only that, but worldwide, when it goes from daylight saving time to standard time on the same day, England and America, I know for sure, are several weeks apart. So put that in your
Got it.
alarm system on your clock, recognizing that, yeah, it did change.
Yep, got it. Thank you.
But that, all right. So, Anna, what do you think?
I got the book on death and dying in the library right now, so I'll read it. And I'm sitting thinking about passion and compassion. So somehow, you somehow go to equanimity to work with it, but what the point of coming? Like when you're supposed to come to passion and compassion? That's what I kind of try
Right. So,
to
fine
figure
way
out.
of saying compassion without the passion.
Yes, but it's equanimity then. Oh, it's not. I am kind of confused.
Kind of confused about what?
It's an equanimity. Compassion without passion, it's equanimity, or I'm not like
Yes,
No,
defining.
exactly. We
So
accept
then,
it. You see, part of compassion is that we're still trying to bargain with it. We don't like it, etc. Yes, we accept that everybody's a screw up.
yeah, but compassion is kind of not really by choosing, I understand. It's not about feeling, it's about helping.
Yes,
it's just compassion.
yes, exactly.
Give something, but you're not really
Actually,
feeling it. I feel
all
loving
right.
kindness and feeling, but compassion is going to help without loving. No, it's about loving kindness. Compassion, it's just making the action to help somehow, to give food. But equanimity, you you don't do
With
anything, or
detachment.
I'm confused about this passion part.
Okay, let's talk about it like this: is that when we have the ordinary kind of compassion, then we begin to feel the way that the person that we're talking to feels. Then we try to, because we don't like the way we. So that's very compassion. In other words, we join their pity party. If they fall overboard, we jump overboard with them. But there's another way of dealing with it, and that is when we deal with it wisely, we can see what it is that is needed in the moment. For instance, they may need something to eat. So let's go. They may need a pat on the head. You're all right. So real compassion actually requires wisdom so that we give what's actually needed. In other words, we can be generous. Now, in Christianity, they actually are screwing it up right from the very beginning. You know, there's this thing called the Golden Rule: do unto others the way that you want to be done to. Well, that's not the way to do it. And in fact, a good example of that is at Christmas. The husband gives the wife panties and ESPN, and the wife gives her husband some pots and pans. You see, you see where that went? Okay, the husband didn't give his wife what she wanted; he gave his wife what he wanted. And the wife did not give him what she wanted. That's normal compassion. Let's take the extra time to figure out what it is that's actually needed and then give them what they want. This is, in fact, if you're telling them, oh, you screwed up, but you hit them hard, they're going to deny it. If you want to teach somebody something about the way that they're screwing up, we have to do so to actually accept what we're saying. But it's really easy and fun to say, you screwed that up. No, I didn't screw it up. And so they go immediately into denial. And so this is what we can mean. This is, it's kind of delicate, but we can find a way of talking about it so that we get the correct results. And the correct results is actually both of their bad behavior and coming out of bad feelings, coming out of their dukkha into a state of sukha. And sometimes that's a little tricky. Thanks for bringing that up, Anna. That was a good point. So, Brett, do you have any further things to say?
You said it all. We need detachment.
Anybody else got anything? Pardon?
We need
Go ahead,
detachment
Brett.
along with that equanimity. We need detachment in order to be of service. A certain degree of detachment and sincerity.
I get you. Okay, Mikey, why don't we take this thing home?
Happily, yes. Thank you, friends, for being here today. Don't worry, be happy. There's no need to be in denial. No need to be in dukkha. Just take it easy. Okay, so if you're watching this on YouTube, come join us here on Dhamma Friends. There's a link in the video description to join us. You can also check out these talks on Spotify, iTunes, and other podcasting platforms. Go check out OpenSanghaFoundation.org. We have a Sangha map with many watts listed all over the world. There's many resources there as well, including about every Buddhadasa book that you can find in digital format. So yeah. Anyways, friends, everyone is welcome to stay on the call. Keep chatting. Keep discussing the Noble Dhamma. And we also encourage you guys keep going into this Hangout channel. Just because there's not a scheduled call doesn't mean you can't just come and hang out and have fun and just practice taking it easy. So, yeah.
Yes, I'm pleased when I go on to Discord and I see people are just having chats. 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 people are on the chat, and it's all spontaneous. Let's all go have a tea party together. So when you come on to Discord and you see that there's a call going on, go ahead and join. All right, and thank you all. Stay online here and enjoy this company, and I'll go ahead and take a hike.
Thank you,
for the talk.
Dhammarato.
Thank you.
Bye, Dhammarato.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Dhammarato and friends.